Hey, it's Verla. How you doing? Today's video is about curing anemia, and there is a cure for anemia. However, I don't know if it's like a do it once and then you're cured. It's more like a lifestyle change. Anemia is a condition that I think has to do with your childhood and what kind of nutrition that you were fed as a child. When I was a baby, my mom did not breastfeed. She didn't feed me milk or even baby formula, I don't think. She said that she fed me cream of wheat cereal with a lot of butter and sugar when I was an infant. So I grew up with a lot of gluten sensitivity and also anemia. So I don't know if I could ever really cure that, but I can definitely treat it. And the treatment that I've used came from this book, A Cure for All Diseases by Dr. Hulda Clark. And I can tell you it's the only thing that has ever worked. I've taken iron supplements, I've taken B12 shots and everything because my hemoglobin has been so low. So before I tell you the protocol, I just want to introduce you to the Keto Mojo. This machine right here will give you your hematocrit, which is a wonderful thing to have, because if you're like me and you have low iron, it's just good to have the information about your hematocrit. The only reason that I knew I was anemic and I felt pretty lousy, but the way that I knew that, sorry, I'm looking at these strips because this machine, the Keto Mojo, this is for checking your ketones when you're in ketosis. So it has ketone strips and blood glucose test strips, and the blood glucose test strips are cheaper. These are about $1 a piece to test your ketones when you're in ketosis. These are like 30 cents a piece, much more affordable. So I'm going to be testing my blood sugar and my hematocrit just to show you and to show myself where it's at. Now, what I was saying is that I actually was trying to donate plasma, right, for some extra money. And the first time I went there, my hematocrit was at like 15. Like it was like at 11 or something. It was so incredibly stupid, crazy low. And I was like half dead or something. Like my hematocrit was so low, and they were like, you got to do something because you cannot donate plasma like this. Okay, so you're gonna have to do something. You have to build up your iron, build up your blood. So that was when I started to do all of this. I started to build up my blood by using the protocol in the Cure for All Diseases book. So you just stick the little thing in there. This is just like for people who have diabetes and stuff. And oh, sorry, that was an error. Sorry to be doing this and taking up your watching time. I'll try to do it fast. So what they tell you is that, you need to eat red meat, right? You have to get enough iron. They don't tell you about the vitamin C though. You have to eat vitamin C or some kind of reducer with your iron. So just eating red meat by itself is not going to do the trick. Sorry, I should have did this before I even started the video. Okay, so my hematocrit right now is at 33%. That's still a little low. I don't even think they take you under 35%. When I don't do the protocol, my iron does drop down because I am anemic. So 33% is better than 11%, which is what I've had in the past. Some of the readings, and this machine stores all your past readings so you can run through. The lowest I have in here was 11%. I've had 15%, 20%. The highest I ever had was 42. And so, I'm always aiming for some kind of high number, but I'm just starting this protocol today. So I expect it to have a relatively low reading, which isn't that bad. My blood sugar is a little high, 107. I also expected that because, it's coronation and I'm just like eating everything right now, right? Ain't we all? So that's the Keto Mojo. You can test your hematocrit. I thought that was such a wonderful blessing when I discovered it. So I wanted to share that with you. There aren't very many machines where you can do, self-test to find out information about your own health. go figure. What is that all about? So first of all, I just want to tell a little story about where your hemoglobin and your hematocrit, where your red blood cells are made. They're made in your bone marrow. Okay, so basically the iron that you eat, the iron that you consume, has to take a pathway to get to your bone marrow, inside of your spine. And there are a lot of many things that can happen on the way from your mouth to your spinal, to your bone marrow, where the red blood cells are made. Your iron can be stolen by parasites. So we'll start there. The main parasite being Ascaris, which is a little worm. It's found in all dairy products. It's found on food. It's found everywhere. You can zap that to kill that. And if you want to know about killing parasites, I'm not going to talk about it here. I have covered that in other videos. I've talked about how to zap and also how to do parasite cleanse in other videos. So let's assume that I've killed parasites already. Another very poignant parasite, or really it's more like a bacteria, which is Clostridium, is also a big fan of iron. Okay, and these aren't the only organisms that love iron. Iron is a delicacy for a lot of different organisms. So I want to talk about oregano oil because Clostridium lives in your fillings. I got like metal and plastic fillings in here, and what happens is they don't get, when the dentist applies the filling, they don't usually create a perfect seal between the tooth and the medium. So there's a little tiny little microscopic little gap, and that's all they need. Clostridium are anaerobic organisms. They don't like oxygen, so they look for places where they can hide, and your teeth is where they hide. So if you see any black little lines in your teeth, that's Clostridium infection. Most people have that, and most people have Clostridium in America, but not in Mexico. And in a lot of countries, they don't have Clostridium in their gut flora, but for some reason we do in this country. I think it's because of an overuse of antibiotics, which throws off the balance. But the way that you handle Clostridium is, there's two ways. The main way is to get a lot of expensive dental work done, which I'm not going to go into here. If you want to know about the dental work, I highly recommend the book, The Cure for All Diseases, because the dental work can be a hidden cause of a lot of problems. The other way is to use oregano oil. This stuff is really very, very deadly to Clostridium bacteria. You can put this in a capsule and you can swallow the capsule, and you can also put like a drop of this, just a half a drop because it burns like hell, onto a toothbrush and brush your teeth like that. What I do, I go all out because I have a Clostridium infection, which I need to get a tooth pulled because it's splitting because of the Clostridium is starting to pull it apart. If you see any gray area on your tooth, any little gray spot or black line, that is Clostridium infection, and that Clostridium is robbing you of nutrients. So whenever this whole corona thing blows over, then I can go to the dentist and get the tooth taken out. But for now, I'm just using oregano oil with a Q-tip, and I get the big mirror, the big close-up mirror, and I just dab this directly on it. I dab it all around, and that helps to keep it under control. So that's for parasites, okay? Parasites will rob you of your iron if they are present. So if there aren't any parasites, now your iron needs a vehicle to get to where it's going. Oh yes, and just to briefly talk about iron and B12. B12 is also another kind of anemia, so you want to make sure that you're getting both. I was vegan for a long time, and this was how I got my iron and my B12. This is blackstrap molasses. It's very, 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 very nutritious. This stuff right here is like a multivitamin in itself. But this has sorghum mold in it, which is deadly to your liver. It's very, very toxic. So what you want to do is you want to heat this, and you want to add vitamin C powder to detoxify the mold. Now, that's not to say it's going to kill all the mold, but I'm pretty sensitive to mold. And if there's any mold in something I eat, I usually will have some kind of immune response. And I don't have immune response when I prepare this with vitamin C powder. Okay, that detoxifies the mold. So you can just open up a vitamin C capsule. You can open up a vitamin C capsule, or if you have loose vitamin C powder, and just, like I said, heat this and stir that all together. Let it set for like 10 minutes, and then just pour this with some orange juice And wow, I mean, it gives you energy. You get the B12, you get all the B vitamins, you get the minerals, you get the iron, the calcium, magnesium, everything. This stuff right here is magnificent. So that's the blackstrap. I started eating meat because I was so anemic in 2018. 2018 is when I started eating meat. I was so badly anemic, and I wanted to donate plasma. I was like, I should be able to if other people can. So I just started to have these because I just couldn't bring myself to like put the meat on the fork, and like, so I started to have desiccated beef liver. Okay, because I surely wasn't about to eat no beef liver, and I didn't even want to eat a burger back then. So these are really nice. This beef liver is desiccated, which means it's freeze dried, and it's ground into a very, very fine powder. It doesn't even have a flavor. You can mix this into smoothies, or you can mix this into your drink. I called it an Iron Mom shake. I would put this with some orange juice and the black strap. It had a lot of vitamin C, and it had a lot of iron and B vitamins as well. And if you don't eat meat, this B vitamin supplement is great, but I highly recommend eating meat if you're anemic, because you need heme iron. Heme iron has a different pathway, and it creates a different kind of red blood cell, or a different, I can't really break it down. I'm not, like a chemist or something, but heme iron is different than non-heme iron. So you need both, okay? I got to a point where I said, okay, well, I'll eat seafood, because oysters and clams are the highest form of iron, even out of steak and everything else. Okay, so if you just want to compromise, eat mollusks. That's what I was doing for a while, just eating mollusks. I wasn't having the beef and all that. Now I just eat everything, because like I wasn't really happy like having to always like prepare mollusks and oysters and all that stuff. So now I eat beef and all of that. But you want to eat animal products to get your iron. And in order to absorb the iron, you have to have some kind of reducing power, because when you eat the iron, that iron gets stored in your system as something called ferric iron, which is like the mineral version of the iron, which is like like iron, like metal, so it's not something that your body can actually utilize. So you have to add a reducing agent to that. It doesn't have to be at the same time though, unless it's vitamin C, which I highly recommend. Always having vitamin C whenever you have whenever you're eating any kind of iron. You'll see in Chinese restaurant, if they serve beef and broccoli, they always serve an orange slice with it. Very important for absorbing the iron. But as far as reducing the iron down to ferrous iron, which is, you want to take it from ferric to ferrous, and this is not just with iron, it's with germanium and some other minerals as well. Then you want something strong, real strong. The strongest reducer that you can take is sulfur. This is MSM. People take this for joints and for skin, hair, and nails. It's the beauty nutrient, and it really is. I mean, it'll make your hair grow like crazy. It'll make your nails grow like crazy if you're into that. It'll make your skin really soft and beautiful. It's the best thing ever. This one has chondroitin, because this is 500 milligrams right here, and this one is very, very, very strong reducer. So you might feel kind of sucked in, because reducer means just that, it reduces. And if you're overweight, then you want to start taking some MSM, or you want to start taking some vitamin C, which is a milder reducer, but it's a reducer just the same. Like I said, this is the MSM with the chondroitin, so that's going to nourish your ligaments and your joints. The other reducer, which should be on everyone's list, is cysteine, okay, or cystine. I'm not sure how you would say it, cysteine or cystine. This is easier on the kidneys than vitamin C. So sometimes, because I have kidney issue, I'll take this instead of the vitamin C. This stuff is good for the kidneys. It helps the kidneys, and it's a reducer. So it does a lot of the same things that the MSM does, but different. And I don't want to break it all down, because I'm not even really that sure about what I would say about cystine, but I can't live without it. So you have your iron, and then you have your reducing agent with it. And the last piece of this protocol is something called lactoferrin. Now this lactoferrin is the vehicle, or the taxi cab, that your iron is going to take to get to your bone marrow. okay? Your iron has to go from the food or the supplement to the bone marrow and not get hijacked along the way. So and it has to be in a form that your body can use to make red blood cells. So that's going to be lactoferrin. This is the vehicle. Now, this is a lactoferrin supplement. However, you can find lactoferrin in bone marrow soup bones. You know, like bone broth bones that have the little the marrow in the middle. It's a delicacy. People eat that part. I think they just call it marrow. I'm not really sure, but that has lactoferrin, and you only need it once a week. You can also have raw milk to get the lactoferrin, but you're going to get a lot of other things with the raw milk. You can sterilize the raw milk and you'll still get the lactoferrin. But I just take a supplement like this because it's just much, much easier. So those are the three steps in order to cure your anemia, okay? After doing this for about 2 or 3 days, my hemoglobin, my hematocrit is going to be higher than it is right now. So I just want to mention a couple things about how to build your veins, because when I went to donate plasma, they told me some ways to build the veins. One of the really important things was to work out your upper body. So you want to be, doing maybe 10 pounds, maybe like 10 pounds, 10 reps, 3 times or something like that, just to build up your veins. My veins are really small. They're much better than they were. And that's from doing what they say. They say avoid alcohol. They say do aerobics, because red blood cells carry oxygen around your body. So you need to hyperventilate. You need to breathe, okay, to get that oxygen into the body so that the red blood cells can carry that around and oxygenate your blood. That'll puff up your veins. And there's also a supplement I meant to bring over here, but it's horse chestnut, okay? Horse chestnut strengthens the veins and beefs them up also. So it strengthens the walls of the veins so that they're not too flimsy, and also and puffs up the vein. It improves, the tone of the vein. I didn't bring it, but it's horse chestnut. So that's just like those trees you see, and they have those conkers, those green conkers with all the spikes on it. That's a horse chestnut. They have it in a pill, in a supplement form here. So those are my tips for curing anemia and for puffing up your veins. Avoiding alcohol, doing aerobics, doing a little bit of weight training for your upper body. Of course, staying hydrated, drinking lots of water, stay hydrated, stay oxygenated. Make sure you get enough iron, and make sure you're reducing the iron, because nothing is more important than reducing it. This is the most important thing. Out of all the things that I mentioned here, this is the most important thing. Okay, because even if you're just not eating that much iron, you've still got a lot of iron floating around in you, that is the kind that doesn't make red blood cells. Your body can't use it. It's ferric iron, and you get it from many, many different sources. This is going to reduce the iron that's in your system. So even, you don't have to gorge yourself on meat or anything like that. You don't need a lot of iron, okay? You have a lot of iron in your diet already. If you eat nuts, if you eat eggs, if you eat any animal products at all, you've got plenty of iron. So that's not really the issue. The issue is reducing it down to a form that is usable, and that's this. So if you don't do anything else, I highly recommend this. You can find it as a beauty supplement, like I said, skin, hair, and nails, MSM. So I hope this information has been helpful, and I wish all of you a very eventful coronation. Namaste.